care what the magazines say. You're beautiful, simply beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You're beautiful.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. I see you, Dawn. Slick J. Adams. Good morning. Come on. Come on. You're listening to the book of Dawn. Good morning. You're listening to the book of Dawn. This morning. You're listening to the book of Dawn. Good morning. You're listening to the book of Dawn. Are you ready for the truth? And nothing but the truth, so help you, Dawn. She's bringing it to you every weekday at 9 in the morning. So if you wanna hear the real, this is what you gotta do. Just log online and listen to Dawn speak her mind. To the book of Dawn. In the morning, you're listening to the book of Dawn. This morning, you're listening to the book of Dawn. This morning, you're listening to the book of Dawn.
Hey. Hey, Slick J. Adams.
I think I'm gonna need me a theme song.
Hey, he's so dope. He's so super dope. Welcome back. You tuned into the Book of Dawn from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. It is Who's That Girl? Woman Crush Wednesday, and I will tell you who she is. Her name is Latrice, but we call her L. Latrice L. Davis is a professional with over 2 decades in nonprofit facilitation, staff training. She's how would you say? She's the fixer. That's what I'm going to call her, because when I met Elle, she was fixing something. Okay, she's that girl with and not just a fixer. You know how some things that are broken, you think they will never be the same, but then somebody like fixes it and it's kind of better than it was, so you have to second guess what you were thinking you were doing in the first place? That would be her. Yeah, she's the fixer. She's been resilient in troubling times, not just for herself, but for her community. And I think that it's important, as you all well know, to make certain that if you have been living under a rock and you live in Chicago and you don't know who she is, I share her with you, because resiliency for me, especially during the month of the woman, is an important thing to share. So without any further, she's my friend, so I don't want to just keep bragging on her. I want to share her with you so you can see that what I'm saying is actually all true. Welcome to the Book of Dawn, Elle.
I'm just saying, can I get a theme song?
I'll talk to my people.
I'm just saying, that is hot. Dawn, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you and to talk about all the things.
I am happy that you are here. I know that you're busy, and I'm grateful. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time to speak to me. I really would love for you to share your story. And I know that, resiliency in Black women is not something that's unfamiliar. I just think it's undershared, particularly
Absolutely.
with women in Chicago, who are really difference makers in the lives of not just children in the community, but women in the community. And we have trouble supporting each other sometimes. Not me and you, but we, the collective of sisters. Like we we're always fixing crowns, but we want to make certain everybody knows we fixed the crown. And the unsung heroes like you, I just really want to make certain that I share with my viewing audiences and anybody that's tuning in from around the world. So, Elle, tell us a little bit about baby Elle.
Well, I'm gonna back up for a second for the question about when did you know you were Black? I know you said you might ask me that, but I have
did.
to say I resonate so well with it wasn't necessarily Black, it was being dark skinned. And I will never forget, I was in 3rd grade waiting for the school bus in a store, and this high school girl was like, "Oh, she's pretty to be a dark skinned girl." And I was like, "Oh, what does that mean?"
Yeah. What you say, Harpo? Look, yeah, you know what? Nephew Ron said the same thing, and he experienced that in his own family.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and
So,
I think although like I said, I did have a step family, and we were definitely fairer skinned, and they made it. Other people made it a bigger deal, white and Black. Because
yes.
being the light-skinned girl, the white girl, who talked proper, and it wasn't hot in the streets back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, and people assumed that I thought I was cute just based on my complexion. When I was like, I'm 9, like I'm really not walking around trying to be a beauty queen at 9. And, and so, yeah, that's a good point to make. So, but Elle,
Yeah.
let's go a little further in that question. Was there a time, because I really struggled trying to answer this, was there ever a time in your home that you didn't know you were Black? Because I don't remember ever questioning that. And it had to be something my mother did. Was there ever like that moment like, oh, I'm a Black girl, not a darker skinned Black girl, but a Black girl, period?
I'm having a hard time thinking of a time because so what I will tell you is my parents left Inglewood and moved, and this is a part of the story. So my parents left Inglewood and moved to the north side to the Edgewater neighborhood so that I could go to Walt Disney Magnet School.
Okay.
So I went to school in a very diverse school with everybody. My best friends were white, Mexican, and Puerto Rican.
Okay.
It was the crew of us, the 4 of us. So honestly, no one ever pointed out me being a Black girl. It wasn't like, oh no, you're different, you're a Black girl. And I don't think I really had I had that incident in 3rd grade. And then after that, I don't remember anything standing out, honestly, until I got to the halls of Whitney Young when Malcolm X was big. Malcolm X came out. So here we are, 14 years old, going to see the Malcolm X movie and reading the book and having real discussions about what it means to be a Black person in this world. So, I don't think I remember anything prior to that, though.
Okay. Yeah, it was such an intriguing question when it was posed to the
It
panel. And I was
is.
just like, wow, that's a deep question.
It
So,
is.
okay, so that's a good start. So you're born Inglewood.
Mm-hmm.
And your
To
parents.
teenage parents.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
who had the wherewithal to know that education was key.
Yep. Yep.
And
So they were introduced to Walt Disney by an aunt who was an aide on the school bus. And they were like, oh, Walt Disney. Okay, well, what we got to do to get her in there?
Right.
And they did
Well,
what they had to do.
yeah. You gotta love it, because that's really that's my parenting style. That was my mom's parenting style. And I wish that some of our younger sisters really had that grit about parenting and about the necessity of, if you have to move. If you have to sacrifice. If you have to get up in the morning and walk them to school, get up and walk them. If you have to find a job that fits in the hours so that you can support them, so that they can be on the debate team or the cheer team or whatever team.
Yep.
There is a level of sacrifice that is necessary to produce children that can, that can make it with, not that the ones can't, but make it a little bit easier for them.
Give them a better opportunity, right? Just make it,
Absolutely.
yes, absolutely, making it easier. And that's, I did that with my own daughter. We, unfortunately, we don't go to school she doesn't go to school in our neighborhood. And that's unfortunate to me. I wish I could walk her to that school, but they didn't provide the things that I wanted. So what do? I drive a little bit. Well, now we remote learning, but I
Right.
drive to Old Town, which is, 20 minutes north of me, because I want her to have a well-rounded arts education. And I found a school that does that for us. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I do the same. I have to say and crazy thing is that I was in Hyde Park, but the rules for the schools are I couldn't go to Murray
mhm.
or Bret Hart. I had to go across the street to Kosmiski. And I was like, yeah, not
Okay.
doing that. And so my only option at that point was private school. And so that
Hmm.
journey took me like to Palos, because that's where I
Wow.
found where she definitely was a part of a small percentage of people of color, she and my other daughter, but it gave me from the religion, from the Christianity, and the sports and the arts and even the home ec classes, the wood shops. It gave me the
Yep.
full gamut, and just have to. We just gonna have to get up at 6 o'clock so I can make sure I can get you. This is pre-Uber, so there's
Got
a
to do what you have
sacrifice
to
you have to,
do.
which is such a shame.
Absolutely.
Any kid should be able to go to whatever school in their neighborhood they want to.
Girl, I got a neighborhood. I got the school that I can look out my back window. I could like literally stand on the back porch and watch her walk literally across the alley.
Yeah,
Literally.
that's how we were in Hyde Park. I lived on 53rd and Ellis. Kosmiski is right there.
It's
We
right there.
parked in the parking lot of the school. So, but it wasn't an option. And neither was Beasley or any of the other really good schools in the area. So,
Hmm.
Elle, tell me about school pre your daughter. You go to Disney.
Hmm.
You go to Whitney Young. I know there's probably some Dolphins
Dolphin
watching there.
love.
Go ahead.
Exactly.
Go ahead. Look, get it out your
Blue and
system.
orange love. Yes.
Look, such a hater. Get it out your system, because we all know Luther South was the best school ever. But anyway,
I don't know
no.
about that, Dawn, but we're not going to discuss that today.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna let her slide because that's my career. But no, I do have friends from Whitney Young. Elle is one of them.
Of course you do.
And low key, she knows. When she just wants to battle me in public, that's okay. They all wanted to go to Luther South. It just wasn't there for everybody. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. So you go to Whitney Young, and then
Hmm.
tell me, because you mentioned Malcolm X and the movie, and having that awareness and that wherewithal and a really diverse community of students. How did that change the direction and your thought process to what you wanted to do and what impact you wanted to make on the world?
That's an interesting question. So I think it did, but I think for me, what won over was really like my next step of college. What won over was money, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
told you my parents were teen parents. And when I say teen parents, like my mother was walking across her graduation stage with me in her belly,
Oh,
right? And so, exactly. So, um, when it came down to applying for schools, of course, I went to Whitney Young. Everybody was going to Howard. Well, here's the deal. You had Howard, U of I, and then a sprinkle of a whole bunch of other HBCUs.
right.
And so I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to Howard. My crew is going to Howard. That's where I'm going. And Howard was like, yeah, we're not giving you no money. And I was like,
Look,
okay.
right.
Okay. And so, lo and behold, through one of my friends that play basketball, I find out about the school, Creighton University, which is in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. Yeah.
And so he's going to play basketball. I don't play basketball. I ran track in high school, but not well enough to get a scholarship by any means.
Okay.
And so what I liked about Creighton is at the time, I thought I was going to be Heathcliff Huxtable and I was going to deliver babies and bring them into this world.
Okay.
Okay. And so I was like, oh, well, I got to go to medical school. So Creighton was offering a guaranteed admissions program that if you maintained a certain GPA, you automatically got into med school without taking the MCAT. That was my kind of school. I was like, yes, come on, let's go.
Yes.
I get accepted to Creighton. They give me all kinds of money. You know, here I am. And at the time, I just did not know this, but here I am, a Black girl from Chicago. They're like, yes, please come to Creighton, right? Because we need to diversify our student body.
Sure.
So my mom's like, well, it's up to you. The decision is yours. She's like, but we don't have no money, right? My parents are definitely working class people. They were like, we don't have any money for Howard or Dillard or any of those other schools. And I was like, all right, Creighton it is. Sight unseen. I never visited Creighton before I got there. So what is unique is I get to Creighton. I learned that our Black population at the time was about 6%. Okay, 6%.
Yeah.
This Black girl coming from Chicago who's familiar with Cabrini Green, who grew up Inglewood, all of the things. I get to Creighton University and they tell us not to walk across the street to the McDonald's because it's in North Omaha, the Black neighborhood. Wow. Girl, I was like, are y'all serious? Do y'all know what Cabrini Green is? Do y'all know what Robert Taylor is? Do
you know what Inglewood is? What?
I don't understand. But what it did do for me is I became an advocate for Black students on that campus. So it taught me leadership. I became the president of our Black Student Association. I fought for diversity. I sat on diversity committees. I was like, yo, before diversity was a hot thing, I was doing diversity.
Yeah, before it was a buzzword.
Before it was a buzzword, right? And I mean, granted, it was the affirmative action era, right? And so we had like, you know, a director of affirmative action and all those things. But I was on Creighton's campus in this Catholic Jesuit university in Omaha, Nebraska. And I was like, hey, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to make the best of it. And so that's what really like started my leadership. And that's what started me on this journey of, even though it's not a ton of Black people, guess what? We're going to make a name. Y'all going to know our presence. Y'all going to feel our presence more than anything.
Yeah. Well, and so what I will say is one of my broadcast brothers he just put in the chat that his nephew's at Creighton playing basketball right now.
Shut up.
Yeah. So we'll have to make certain that you connect him with the organizations there. Many years ago, when I was in high school, I had a friend that attended Creighton and played basketball. I think outside of you, because you had the grades to go there and make good for yourself. Oftentimes at colleges like those, the Black people, the student body is primarily athletes, you know, because you know what I'm saying? And so, but it took courage to go there, and it took resiliency. And because when I knowing your story, I just my underlying instinct is to share your resiliency because you have so many reasons. If you look at it from the window of what people perceive, you can make it. You didn't have any of that. You just had two resilient parents. You had a mother who made a choice to keep you. You had a father and a mother who chose to sacrifice everything they knew from the neighborhood they were raised in to take themselves out of that neighborhood to give you a life maybe they wanted for themselves or couldn't figure out how to do it for themselves. And then you even had the wherewithal as a young, college is frightening. I don't care if you're going to a HBCU and you're Black. I don't care if you're going to a HBCU and you're white. I don't care if you're going where you're going. College at 18 is a frightening experience because many of us have to figure it out. College is a figure it out place. You got to figure out how to manage your $2. We don't have parents sending us tons of money, and you just really
what you gonna eat.
You got to stand in the shower with 90 girls. I'm like, whoa, this is uncomfortable. ain't no private bathrooms. Oh yeah, you can't afford that part. But so your resiliency, and then the fortitude to say, nah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a representative for other Black people. Like, I don't know that that's very selfless of you, because most people are just concerned with self-survival. And yet you turn that into, let me help us all thrive, which then has created a legacy of experiences for other Black girls and boys at that university, I'm sure. When did you meet your husband, Elle?
Whew, when did I meet Paul Davis? I met Paul. So the backstory real quick is that me and two of my girls decided we're sports fans. So we decided literally in 2006, we were going to go out to watch the football games. We're like, we're not going to watch them at home. We're going to intentionally go out.
Okay.
So 2006 starts it. We went out. I think a couple of us met a couple guys, but nothing sparked. So 2007, we're like, okay, it's football season again. Let's go. So we go out. It's a Sunday. I did not want to go. It was the night game, and I had an attitude. And I primarily had an attitude because of a guy I had been dating who was driving me crazy. Okay. And I was like, I can't do this dude no more. He's ridiculous. So we go to this place. Paul is sitting at a table with his friend, and he's obnoxious. Like, he is straight loud and obnoxious. And I was like, would this dude shut up? Like, yes, I was like, this dude needs to shut up. What is his deal? So I had enough. And I was just like, y'all know what? I'm getting ready to leave. And my girls were like, no, don't leave. And I was like, I came out. I'm here. It's nothing really happening here. Nobody's really in here. I'm bouncing. So I get up to leave, and he was like, where you going? And I was like, sir,
sir,
who are you talking to?
Sir.
And sir,
you know what that means, nephew. Like, if somebody say sir, that's the finger grab.
Yes, Dawn, yes. Sir, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm just saying, why you leaving? It's just a few of us in here. Come on. And I was like, dude, if you don't stop talking to me.
Right.
And then, you know what he says to me? And this, my girlfriend was like, why did I end up waiting on you? He says, I see God's light all over you.
Oh, baby. Oh, that's fellas, if you're listening, Brother Paul say, that's a good one. But you do shine brightly. But that is a good one.
It's a great one.
Thank you. But I was like, did this man just say, I see God's light all over you? And I was like, oh, okay, God, what is that? And then he proceeds to say, he's like, I wouldn't ask you. I'm not asking you for your number because I'm getting ready to move to Maryland. My daughter's about to move to Maryland, and I got to go with my daughter. And I was like, okay, this dude, I can't even.
Right.
Lo and behold, an hour later, I'm still there. We're talking. And one of the first things that he said to me, like towards the end of the conversation, I guess I should say, is that he was just like, you're a gem. He was like, you are a gem. And he was like, I would actually be a fool not to ask you for your number.
Oh, good
and
one.
So I was like, So I gave him my number. We leave. And he's like, can you just call me, let me know you got home, whatever. I'll call him when I got home. We talked for another 4 hours.
Wow.
Our first date a week later was 12 hours long.
Wow. That is so precious. That's which makes the next part of this story, which is the birth of the next season of giving back in your life.
Mm-hmm.
To hear the way that you met. Actually, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't take a break because the baby boss is back there with his hands. Wait,
with the finger, Dawn, with the finger.
Like, he got the finger. He doing the nephew finger grab. This means break.
Ma'am.
And this means wrap. So I'm going to break. And then we're going to come back because I want you guys to hear Elle's what happened after that beautiful beginning and how even in pain, her purpose was reborn. This is the Book of Dawn. We'll be right back, and I'm going to get Elle with one of these good jokes. I got this good joke for her. We're going to see if Whitney Young taught her how to answer the joke. This is the Book of Dawn. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPN. The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out chicagolegalnetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. I see you, Dawn. Slick J. Adams. Good morning. Come on. Come on. You're listening to the Book of Dawn. Good morning. You're listening to the Book of Dawn. This morning. You're listening to the Book of Dawn. Good morning. You're listening to the Book of Dawn. Are you ready for the truth? And nothing but the truth, so help you, Dawn. She's bringing it to you every weekday at 9 in the morning. So if you wanna hear the real, this is what you gotta do. Just log online and listen to Dawn speak her mind. To the Book of Dawn. In the morning, you're listening to the Book of Dawn. This morning, you're listening to the Book of Dawn. This morning, you're listening to the Book of Dawn.
Sound crazy. Who's okay with Tucson? He is so hilarious. I love Tucson. Let's have you say his name.
Why did he say that though? For
like
real?
French. Tucson. Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn. Today, who's that girl? My woman crush today is on Latrice L. Davis. I have to do a joke, and I felt like this one fit because of our subject of one of our books, Wife 101. Here's your joke of the day. Why didn't the astronaut come home to his wife?
The astronaut.
I'll let you take a stab at it. Why didn't the astronaut come home to his wife?
Because he was floating in the air?
Nephew?
He's doing moon rocks.
He needed his space.
You know what?
Him needed some space. That's all. That's all him needs space. That's all. Gotcha.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, so we talked about this. The fact that you got Tucson tickled me because Tucson, you know, he's my light skinned brother. But Tucson, he'll try. She said, did you see the reply? Elle said, no. I said, get him, Elle. So you meet this guy. Obviously, the story goes from him getting on your last nerve. I think I met a guy whose last name I carried that was very similar.
Yeah. Tell you about him, girl. Tell you about him.
You marry, and then you lose him. Yep. Can you hear me, Al?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Yeah.
So tell me after meeting the man who realize the beauty in you from the Spirit of God and from your outer beauty, and then you lose him. Tell me what happened.
So I'll say before I lose him, we have a honeymoon baby.
Okay.
So that was real deal.
Yay. Y'all go
We had
together.
a honeymoon baby. And so my daughter had just turned 2, and it was April 16th, 2014. So we are coming up on 7 years.
Okay.
And we woke up happy, excited, talking about what we would do individually and collectively, about dreams, goals, all of the things. And before that day would end, my husband played tennis often and was honestly the picture of health. He rode his bike to go play tennis. He, played tennis 3-4 times a week. He was 49 and probably looked about 40, if that. And he complained of having a cramp in his leg. And, so he kind of took it easy in the evening, everything. He was usually responsible for like cleaning up the dishes after I cook and getting Simone a bath and, putting her down for the night. So I had evenings off once I cooked dinner.
Okay.
And so this night, I went ahead and did everything. He did get up and give her a bath, and he still said he wasn't feeling that great. Laid back down about 9:45. I get into bed about 10. And my daughter comes pitter-patting down the hall about an hour later, and he would get up to like put her back down, and she just climbed in the bed, and I was too tired. I was like, I didn't care, come on, girl, get in the bed. So she's stirring around and couldn't get comfortable, and so I push him to be like, get your baby. I know you're not feeling good, but get your baby.
Right.
And so literally, Dawn, I pushed him, and I pushed him on his leg. And it was stiff. It was stiff.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, and so I jumped out the bed and I ran over to his side and I looked in his face and I was just like his eyes were lifeless. And I knew as soon as I touched him though, I knew that he was no longer alive.
Wow.
And so this is about 11 p.m. on April 16th, 2014.
Wow.
And my first thought before I called the police, called my parents, my first thought was just like, how am I about to get through life?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
That was my first thought. And so that was to date. I was 36. I was a 36-year-old widow with a 2-year-old. And to me, when I hear the term widow, I thought of a 80-year-old white woman.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
so to be a 36-year-old Black woman with a 2-year-old and have to embrace the title of widow, it just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I can imagine. Particularly, the fact that it happened at all. But then was there a time that you started questioning if there was something else you could have or should have done when he complained?
Immediately, girl.
Yeah.
Immediately. And so you just don't know though, right? Somebody says they have a leg cramp who's an athlete. You're like, literally that night I offered him a banana and some Gatorade. I'm like, you need me to get you some bananas? You need some Gatorade?
Right.
Because you're not, you're right. Like somebody who's otherwise healthy, who had been to the doctor within the year, right? He'd gone to the doctor in the July of 2013. So he had been to the doctor within the year, hadn't complained of anything. And later I came to find out when the medical examiner, took them months to figure out what was happening. And when I finally got a call on July 1st of that same year, she said that he had died of atherosclerosis, which is a hardening of the arteries. And she said it can come from numerous things, even though he wasn't he didn't, I cooked, right? Like we ate at home all the time. And so even though he wasn't a huge fan of like all the vegetables or any of that, she was just like, it can come from eggs. It can come from cookies. It could come from, like that hardening of the artery can come from other things that we just don't think about. And she said he actually had died over a couple of days. She said his heart had started to slow down, and he probably had started dying like 2 days prior than before he actually passed.
I'm speechless. Oh my gosh. And wait, so let's go back to this resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
Even after having lost, lying right next to you, like in plain sight,
Mm-hmm.
the man who changed your life forever was the father of your daughter. You found a way not just to get back up, but to get up and share your story with other women, to the ones that are 20 that probably made the same mistakes that we did, and to the ones who want to be a wife, but more importantly, the ones who want to stay a wife, which I thought was so interesting that you use that term, because the goal for many is wife, but how about once you get there? Where did you find the strength to not just throw in the towel?
So it's a couple of things. I actually was speaking to a group last night about resilience, and resilience is very important to me. So I'm grateful that you keep using that word, because that is exactly what it is. And you are correct that we don't talk about it enough, and we don't talk about what it means, and we don't teach our children about what it really means. But what I found the strength through a couple of things. Number one, I was in therapy 3 weeks after my husband passed.
Okay.
Not to make the appointment. I was sitting in a chair 3 weeks after he passed. Then my relationship and my faith in God was paramount at that time. But I was also real in the sense that I was like, God, I don't understand this. And I'm pissed, right? I talked at my husband's funeral, and I said from a pulpit, in front of clergy, in front of all the 300 or whoever people were there, I'm mad at God. I am pissed because yes, I'm a believer, but you don't do this. Like, really?
Yeah.
And I felt like I had done so many quote unquote right things that I'm like, why did this happen to me? Why is this my story? But even through that, I had faith, and I just had the wherewithal to know that, eventually it will be okay. It hurts, and sometimes it still hurts, right? Like it's still painful. But one of the things one of my aunts, I remember when she called, and she was just calling to check on me within those first 2 weeks. And she said, I just want you to remember something. She was just like, Paul lost his life, but you did not lose yours.
Well, now that's grown. That's old lady wisdom.
It's wisdom, and
I speechless.
I think I was angry at first, even when she said it, though. Right? I was just like, how's she gonna tell me? And then I said, I had to check myself. So here's the thing, too. I will check myself quickly.
Yeah.
If I'm messing up, if I'm doing wrong, if I'm acting crazy, I will check myself. And so I had to check myself and say, listen to what she said. She said, Paul lost his life. You did not lose yours. That does not mean that you forget Paul. That does not mean that you dismiss anything that happened. But what it does mean is you got to continue to live. And if not for you, for that 2-year-old who is now 9, who just had a birthday this week and is now 9.
Yeah.
And so I've had to push forward. So therapy, faith, community, my friends, bar none. I got the best crew in the world. And, those are the things that really helped me. My mom swooped right in. My parents both just became the lights that Simone needed. And I just was surrounded by love. So I couldn't help but to continue in love.
You said a couple things that I just want to touch on. You talked about therapy. So many people are afraid to embrace that therapy is useful, particularly Black people. What would you share with somebody who about not being afraid of therapy and what therapy can actually help you do?
Yeah, therapy is an unbiased standpoint, right? It's an unbiased view from someone who is just listening to you and helping you to sort out everything that you're going through. One of the things that I tell people all the time, though, is you have to make a checklist. So just like in dating, you like, I want this, I want that. And just like in your job, and just like for a church, whatever it is, the things that you do, we create lists for everything. You need to have a list for your therapy, like for your therapist. I knew that I wanted a woman. I knew I wanted her to be Christian. I knew that I wanted her to be Black. And I knew I wanted her to be married.
Okay.
Those were my 4 criteria.
Okay.
Those were very important to me. If she did not possess those things, I didn't want her. Point blank.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and we have to also interview people. Like, just because you go to therapy once, if you don't like them, say, okay, thank you for this session. This didn't work out. I'm on the search for somebody else. And you got to ask people, you know, why they like their therapist. I got referrals from a couple of different friends. And, you know, I interviewed the therapist because I needed the best person for me at that time. Who, and it depends on what you want. Some people want homework. Some people don't. Some people want advice. Some people just want to be listened to. You have to figure all of that out.
And so I think you hit it right on when you said make a checklist. I don't know that we empower ourselves enough with a therapist or even a doctor to know that there's a certain set of criteria that you can demand or seek out that will speak directly to you. I think it's, though, so important because often as a Christian, I have a therapist as well. But as a Christian, prior to having a therapist, I don't know that I really was okay with getting a therapist, right? Because I thought that I could find it all in my Christian space. Yeah. And you can find it in your Christian space, but there has to be a professional in another space that shares your common values and belief system. And so the fact that you said that you were bold enough to stand in the pulpit and say, I am pissed, right? Because that is your true feeling, and that is okay to say. You know, I read a meme yesterday, and it said, stop saying you're okay when you're really not okay.
Please.
Because share your reaction to that meme.
I'm in the amen corner because and so here's the trick. It's social media, right? Like everybody on social media puts out the good thing. And just last week, it was late and I'm usually in bed. I'm early to bed, early riser. But just last week I had a horrible evening. Not horrible, but it was a bad evening. And I posted something and I had a friend call me and it was like midnight. And he was like, "You all right?" He was like, "You don't usually." And I was like, but that's the thing. People have to post more than just like, "Ooh, I look good. Ooh, yes, everything is glorious. Yes, I'm taking this trip." No, I'm having a crappy day. And I've posted those. I've been like, it's a hard parenting day. I can't stand being a solo parent right now. Whatever it is. And we have to stop hiding behind this mask and this guise of being, smiley and everything is sunshine and rainbows, because it's not. This past year has shown us, this pandemic has shown us that stuff hits the fan and we have some rough days. And it doesn't matter if you are married with kids and got your job and whatever the case may be, we all struggle, and it's okay. So I have learned to embrace that. And I tell my friends, when people ask, "Are you okay?" I'll be like, "Nope, I'm not. I'm having a rough day." Or I'll text my girls and be like, "I'm really overwhelmed right now. And I'm feeling pretty crappy, and it's, what can I do?" And we got to do better about that. We got to stop walking around and saying, if you're not okay, just be like, "Nope. Yeah. It sucks right now."
And to your point, then, and people have to just, well, I guess there's a couple points here. Don't really ask me if I'm okay. If you really don't want my,
if you don't care,
yeah,
girl, if you don't care. So at college, we had a Native American professor. He said in the Native American culture, he said, they don't ask, you know how we walk down the street, hey girl, how you doing?
right.
They don't say that. They say hi or hello, because his thing is like, if you can't solve my problem, if I'm not doing okay, don't ask me how I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you that I'm doing, like, it's a really crappy day, you don't want to hear that, and you don't know what to do with it. So don't ask me that.
Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, anything that you will say is really, sometimes you just want to be able, you want the liberty to say, no, I'm not okay, and just let it sit there. Like, because I'm saying I'm not okay doesn't mean that I think you're the fixer for me. It just means that I'm answering your question very honestly.
Yeah.
It's not, I think 2 things, and I'll say this transparent as a mother. When I ask my kids, how are you? And the reaction is not, okay, I'm good, Mom. I'm always like, I have this parenting switch that goes into fix it. And my oldest daughter is always like, yeah, I was only just sharing it with you. I wasn't asking you to fix it. But literally, she said, well, damn, if I can't have a bad day and tell you, then stop asking. So it's like,
right.
Okay, so I'm learning to reprogram the parent from the listener. But being able to just be, yeah, I'm not having a good day, and not have a million people on your thread, over there assuming and wondering and making up stuff. Elle said yesterday she wasn't feeling. I just didn't feel good, and I felt like saying it out loud. I think that takes courage to do that, because social media will have you definitely wanting to only post the good stuff, because people will make up a whole TV show of one thing you say when you didn't mean anything at all.
At all. Yeah.
Now, so this wife, life, sister, Sis Stand on My Shoulders came first, right? Or is this the second one?
Yeah, so I'm co-author with both of these. Of both of them. So I'm co-author. It was another woman, Latasha Nicole, who curated them. But Sis on My Shoulders came first.
Okay. And tell me why you and Latasha felt the need for this. I totally know why, but why did you both feel the need to do this?
Because listen, it's a bunch of 20-year-olds out here who think they supposed to own the world, who think that they can do whatever they want to do, and there are no repercussions, and they just out here. And so my title is called Humble Pies and Soaring Eagles.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and so and that's my title because literally I went to NYU for grad school. And so I have my bachelor's and master's in social work. And when I walked into the Boys and Girls Clubs of Chicago for my first job interview, I was like, I could be a director. I can do this. I went to NYU, don't you know? Right. And funny enough, it was one of my girlfriends from high school whose mom was interviewing me. And she was like, I know you Whitney Young, graduating from NYU girls, think that y'all are great and can do anything, and you probably can. But chick, you have no work experience. You can't be a director. Right? Like she was like,
get your smart self some girth, okay?
She was like, pipe down. And so those were my humble pies, right? But then I went to a conference, my first Boys and Girls Club conference, and one of the execs at Boys and Girls Clubs of America, we had an early morning session at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock. And of course, the night before, everybody's kicking it. People are in the bar, people just hanging out. And he was like, it's fine if you want to stay up. He's like, if you're going to hoot with the owls, you got to soar with the eagles. So you can be up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning if you want to, but you better be at this 8 o'clock session on time.
Right.
Ready to learn, ready to go. And so that was my lesson in like humble pies and soaring eagles. Like, look here, Like, you're not everything that you cracked up to be. I don't care what your education is. I don't care what you've experienced. Bring it down a notch, right? And I think 20 somethings need to understand that. They need to learn that, and they can learn from other people's experiences. That's just the bottom line.
It's a different generation out here, Elle.
It's a different generation.
I definitely concur. Sat down. Look, that's what I like to say. Sat down somewhere now.
Sat down. Set yourself down somewhere.
Sat down, not to sit. Sat down. Guys and girls, and when you meet the young ones who understand the value of listening to somebody who may not have experienced exactly what you're going through, but to know that they made it through something, there's value in that maturity. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We have to make it the rule and not the exception for
absolutely
to rebuild, to bridge this gap of communication and understanding. And I know that for you, communication is key in your profession, in your home life, in your friendships, in the philanthropic things that you do. I have worked with you and met you through Polished Pebbles. But you speak in The Wife Life, the other book that you co-authored about communication. And I think that not just in marriage, but in relationship, communication is the key to understanding in all ways. So can you share with our viewers your perspective in marriage on communication and just in life as a person who works to create understanding? I would say, if I could put your job in just a different set of words, to create better understanding.
I like that, girl. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I like that, Dawn.
You can have. That's free.
Thanks, boo. Thanks. So yeah, I mean, it's overrated, right? In the sense of the term, communication is key. People hear it and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand. It, like whatever. They dismiss it. But really, when you don't have communication in your marriage first, let's hit there. It becomes the breeding ground for all misunderstandings. Right? If you cannot clearly communicate with your spouse, if you cannot, for the simple things like who's going to the grocery store, or who's doing whatever the household chores are, then what happens is you keep missing each other. And when you keep missing each other, you tend to grow apart. And so if you're not spending that time talking to one another and trying to understand where the other person is coming from, and that is really an important part of communication, is the understanding. What happens when we are talking to each other in marriages, in friendships, at work, is that I hear you talking to me, Dawn, but before you even finish, I have formed a thought, which means I have stopped listening to you.
Yeah.
Because I want to get my point across.
Absolutely. So you listening? But you ain't heard spit. Okay.
No, nothing. Because all you're trying to do is respond to it. And so people say, "Oh, I'm a good communicator. I'll listen." What did I just say?
Right. You the stutter bug. I want the knife. Did you say I want the knife?
I ain't said nothing about no knife, right?
Exactly.
I said the number 9.
Right. We're going to take a quick break. I am putting how to purchase your book in the thread. I also put your Instagram in there. Y'all follow her. And we're going to come back. I have 2 more questions for you. And then you mentioned Inglewood and the North Side. So I'm feeling like you're somewhere. There's no team in the middle. There's no baseball team in the middle. There's the White Sox for Inglewood and the Cubs for the North Side. So I'm curious about
Don't do it.
I got some questions for you. This is the Book of Dawn. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with Elle Davis.
WIFTBPM. My name is Cassandra J. Mance, current Village of Olympia Fields trustee and your candidate for Village President of Olympia Fields. I've been a resident of Olympia Fields for 28 years. I believe in building strategic partnerships, establishing governance boundaries, and have and will continue to dedicate my life's work as a respected and credible voice when it comes to decision making. Olympia Fields has always been a community of familiarity and comfort, and I want to make sure the village stays that way. On Tuesday, April 6th, vote Cassandra J. Matz for your Olympia Fields Village President. Paid for by Citizens for Cassandra J. Matz.
WIIFTBP, media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP, media's just for you and me.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. I see you, Dawn. Slick J Adams. Good morning. Come on. Come on. You're listening to the book of Dawn. Good morning. You're listening to the book of Dawn. This morning. You're listening to the book of Dawn. Good morning. You're listening to the book of Dawn. Are you ready for the truth? And nothing but the truth, so help you, Dawn. She's bringing it to you every weekday at 9 in the morning. So if you wanna hear the real, this is what you gotta do. Just log online and listen to Dawn speak her mind. Listening to the book of Dawn in the morning. You're listening to the book of Dawn this morning. You're listening to the book of Dawn this morning. You're listening to the book of Dawn. You're now tuned in to Dawn. Oh, sexy Dawn.
He says, speak her mind like I'm outspoken or something. You don't know me. I'm not. Do you think I'm outspoken?
So outspoken.
Welcome back. You tuned into the Book of Dawn. It's Who's That Girl? Woman Crush Wednesday. And L. Davis just reminded us that when somebody is talking, shut the truck up and listen and hear what they're saying before you don't bob your head like this because you got something you want to say, okay? You have to listen, and because if you don't listen, you're going to take the first piece, the last piece, and make a miscommunication because you didn't listen to the inside. You got to hear the whole thing. And you can't hear the whole thing if you're not listening to the whole thing, right? There's value in that. There's value in that in marriages. There's value in that in workspaces. There's value in that especially with what Lil Nas X is, the Gen Z. The Gen Z?
Gen Z.
Yeah, Gen Z.
Generation
Gen Z, yep.
Gen Zs. The Gen Zs. That's y'all's name. The Gen Zs, okay? Are you Gen Z?
Heck, you know.
Oh, okay. Who's Gen Z?
That's under me. I
Oh.
think that's like 24 and under.
So that's how old
25
is your
and
daughter, Dawn?
Oh, she's millennial, I think. She's about to be 34 next week.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
no,
she's
no. My
millennial.
baby
Okay.
girl's a Gen Z. She's
Yeah.
22.
Yeah, that's Gen Z.
She's Gen
That's
Z.
Gen Z.
24 and down.
Yeah. That Gen Z. Look, I'm going to hashtag that Gen Z. Okay, so L, that your point on communication, I think, is crucial. But you also speak about in marriage particularly, but I feel like a lot of the stuff you talked about in marriage, you can apply to life, right? You talked about communication. You talked about if not being in agreement. You talked about what I thought was key for life, especially marriage, but for life, is there's a section in your book like other people. And we way too often compare ourselves to other people and what they have and what you don't have and what they had at a certain age that you don't have at that age and what other marriages has or what Granny's marriage looked like and what you think that, you know, Harry and Meghan look. And so like other people, it resounded with me on in life, period, which will take you into the understanding of it in relationships. Can you share with us a little bit more on the concept of like other people?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I think this is the bad side of social media, right? And I like social media. I enjoy being able to stay connected with people. But what happens is we see what other people are doing and we think that that is the end all be all. So we see a couple, you know, and they talking about how, you know, enjoying dinner and how they took a trip and how they taking a walk through the park. And we like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish my marriage was like that. While meanwhile, you know, before or after that picture was posted, they yelling at each other and straight having a drag down.
Right.
Right.
Right. In real
Like
life.
that's in real life. And so, and we do that with everything. We covet what other people do. And I've been guilty of it. Right.
Yeah.
In full transparent moment, like there are some people in my circle that are winning right now. Like they are getting, and when I say winning, I mean, they are getting some positions that they have, you know, been working very hard for. And it seems like, man, they are just doing it. And there's a lot of people in my circle, in my close circle and my extended circle that are doing that. And I was like, I had a moment just a couple weeks ago where I was like, am I doing anything? Am I missing the boat? Like, what am I doing? Because I've taken a non-traditional path, right? Like I've worked for organizations, but you know, my path now has just been veered in a different way. And it sometimes can feel like I'm not accomplishing things. And so I had to check myself and say, but number one, what is it that you want to accomplish? Number two, do they have the freedom that you have to be able to navigate homeschool and all these other things, right? And are they freaking happy? Just because they get a new job, that also doesn't mean that they're happy. And so you have to define that for yourself. And so I am constantly, Dawn, I am constantly trying to define happiness for myself. What does that look like for me? And to screw what everybody else is doing. It's not to say that I am not ecstatic for what people are doing and what they're accomplishing, but I have to say, and not but, because that negates everything that I just said. And I have to be very mindful of what my journey is. My journey is different than your journey, Dawn, than different than Kelly's journey, than different than Felicia's journey, whoever it is, you know, like, and to be happy and be okay with that. And we all have got to get to that place where we are not trying to be like somebody else, but to just be ourselves, no matter what that is. And who's for you is for you, and who's not, okay, so be it. Peace out.
Yeah, in my mother's words, y'all know what my nephew, you should know by now, I've said it a million times. In my mother's words, when I was young and before I had taken a French class, Chevrolet Coupe.
Chevrolet Coupe?
This eldest
Chevrolet Coupe.
She used to be like, if they don't like it, Chevrolet Coupe. And I'm like, well, my mother speaks French. Until I realized she was saying Chevy Coupe, but I got the point.
I'm about to say that to Simone. Simone is going to be like, what is Chevrolet Coupe? What?
Yeah. Girl, if they don't like you, Chevrolet Coupe. I promise you it was a cuss word in my head till I was, I'm not going to tell you at the point I realized it. It was like, oh, yeah, that's actually a car, but it sounded good. I'm going to have to, when we can have company again, when I can look at you through this acrylic screen in here,
I know.
Will you come back and maybe then we can have like a little panel with a guy and a girl, and we can talk about how we can use what you do for a living, and we can try to get a better understanding of communication and how to get to the root of the happiness for yourself. Because I think if I want to take more than one thing from today, but one of the things is define happiness for yourself. Happiness doesn't look the same for everybody. It's just like a body type or a hair type. There's not a one size fit all happiness suit.
Absolutely.
That's
can I?
very important. Yes, please do.
I just need to interrupt you because I thought you were about to say, "Can you come back and I have a guy for you to meet?" I was about to be like, "Yeah, dog, come on,
Oh,
girl."
babe, I gotta get now. Hold on, now you know I'm a match. Oh, actually, I do. I'm a offline you. He's single, and he's dope, and he's handsome, and he got some coinage. Okay, he got some.
He's like,
He got some,
"Hey."
yeah, some coinage. Yeah, you just. I'm gonna send you a picture of him. I hope you don't
I'm
know him
open.
already. I hope you don't know him already.
I
Oh,
know
yeah.
this Chicago circle. You know how that is. You know how
already
the
know,
Chicago
the biggest
circle
little
is.
city in the whole world.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
Al,
I am open. I'm open. I'm
single
ready.
and ready to mingle. Okay. Watch me match this time. Watch, and then y'all can come back, and then you can name your second child Dawn.
I'm not having no more children. I'm not
Oh,
having no more
okay.
children.
Well, your puppy.
Okay.
Something.
So
A butterfly, a fish. Look, I don't care. Okay, El. I know you a South North Sider. Okay. But
girl, I'm a basketball fan.
Yeah, but you're a South North Sider. So White Sox or Cubs?
Go with the White Sox.
Oh, okay. Keep it hood. Do you wear sneakers or gym shoes?
Girl, gym shoes.
Okay, she's back home, y'all. Ketchup or mustard on your hot dog?
Both.
Soda or pop?
Pop.
Do you drive on the freeway or the expressway?
Expressway.
Do you go to the movies or the show?
Oh, it depends on the day. Most of the time, it's the show.
Did you go to kindergarten or kindergarten?
Kindergarten.
You eat gyros or gyros?
Gyros.
She's so shy. Look, that's the name of this segment. You so shy. Let's see. How many pennies make a dime?
10. Oh, 100.
No, 10. You're right. You said it right. 10. You said it like you went to
Wait, you
school
said
in
how
New York
many?
or
Oh, you said
something.
how many pins you make a dime?
No,
Okay,
no.
pennies make a dime.
Yeah, man, you said 10. I just knew I was going to catch
Yeah.
the Inglewood in you. You was going to say 10,
Oh.
like Chicago people do.
Well, I lived on the East Coast for a little bit. I lived in New York, so.
That's what I said. You caught me on that one. Do you shop at Jewel or Jules?
Jewel.
I tried to say
I say
fast.
Jewel.
Okay. So you know where I'm going with that, right? You know we put an S on everything.
On everything.
Everything. Okay, sugar or salt and pepper on your grits?
Man, this is the debate, but I'm a sugar girl. I don't care what y'all say. Sugar.
Did you
That
hear?
South side.
That's that full-blown South Side. And what is the song that just makes you? You've seen me at some events, and so you know some of my songs. What's the song that makes you do what I do when I hear mine and end up on everybody's feed because people are filming?
And on the stage, you mean?
Yeah, that part. In a dress, in a ball
Golden.
gown.
Right, exactly. But Golden. Jill Scott.
Okay.
Living my life like it's golden. I got on my golden shirt today. I am living my life like it is golden.
I like that. Nephew is such an old soul.
That's
He's
a good
over there
one.
like,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Yeah.
There you go, nephew. That's right.
He's such an old soul. L. Davis, thank you for spending your morning with me. I appreciate you, and I am looking forward to being able to see you in person sometime real soon. We all got to get our vaccinations. I got to work on this one and the baby girl because they ain't not doing what I tell them.
They ain't trying to have
They ain't
it.
trying to hear, but I'm on them. If it worked for me, it'll work for
They
them.
gonna kill me.
They're not gonna kill you, nephew. They're not gonna kill you.
He like, I'm too pretty. He is a handsome kid, though. He not a kid, but he a kid to me because he is my kid's age, but he's really my nephew. I digress. Anyway, Elle Davis, follow her at Elle Davis Speaks on Instagram. I put the links to both books in the thread. Make it your business to buy one. And maybe if you have a young sister who tweaking on the IG, you could probably give her this, and she might learn not to tweak and smoke the hookah, okay? Because I don't want to see your booty drop every day, okay? Just saying that. Elle didn't say that. I said that. Thank you, Elle. I appreciate you. And I will chat with you soon. I'm going to send you a picture of that man.
Please do. Yeah, look, my phone is right here. I'm ready to see it, boo. Look, I'm ready.
In my down south voice, I'm sure going to do it.
Thank you, Dawn. This has been so much fun. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you more. Thank you. That's Elle Davis, y'all. I got to give you a Black History fact before we get out of here, right? I got to give you a couple things before we get out of here because shots fired. Burr, burr, burr. Who gets out of here on time? This girl. That part. I think I did it right. Maybe, nephew. Wow. I did it. Jane Boland, born April 11th, 1908 in Poughkeepsie, New York. She became the first Black woman in the nation to be a judge in 1939. She graduated from Yale Law School and would serve on New York's family court for 4 decades before besides dealing with domestic cases, she worked to stop probation officers from getting assignments based on the color of their skin. During her career, she also worked with Eleanor Roosevelt to create a program that would intervene to stop young boys from committing crime. She's been working at this for a long time. Black History woman you may have not known about, Jane Boland, Poughkeepsie, New York, born Long Island, New York, died 1939, the first Black woman in the nation to become a judge. That's pretty dope. We probably need a couple more. And here's 2 things. I think this is important based on the conversation that we've had with Elle. Grapes must be crushed to make wine. Diamonds form under pressure. Olives are pressed to release oil. Seeds grow in darkness. I'm sure somewhere everybody fits in one of those categories. The other thing is whenever you feel crushed, under pressure, pressed, or in darkness, you're in a powerful place of transformation. Just wait till the cold happens. That's good stuff.
That's some deep stuff.
Yeah, that's real deep. Y'all gotta think about that. Wow, tomorrow, Yolanda Henry, a whole for the culture moment. It's gonna be deep, but we're gonna get through it.
It's been a deep week.
It's been a deep week. Yeah, we're working. Y'all got me around here working. You and Mary, y'all
That's
need
okay.
a break.
We can relax Friday. Be nice.
We are going to have a ball. We are going to have a ball. And I'm going to make more fits by the drinks, okay? I hope he's watching. Thank you for spending a little time with me. Remember to lead with love. Use your voice to be an impact, a positive impact. Oh, have a wonderful day. Tune in tomorrow for the next page in the Book of Dawn. And like we always do about this time, peace and roll tide roll.
WIFTBPM.
Yeah, man. Ideas, man. Ideas.
You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be